Hey everybody, Dr. Diane Mueller here talking about Lyme Disease Test Kit. Now, if you've seen some of my other content on Lyme Disease Test, you understand some of the problems with standard tests out there. So what do you do, right? So if there's problems with some of the standard tests out there with accuracy, remember in the last video on Lyme disease testing, I talked about how there is a 66% chance of a false negative with the first line testing. And so where do you find good tests? So there are companies that specialize in testing and proper testing for Lyme disease. And these testing, they're basically done with these test kits where you can work with a clinician that works with Lyme disease and get a test kit. They'll mail you a test kit and then you take them in for either a blood draw. The test kit I use is one that can be done from home with just finger pricks. So super easy for collection. And again, there's a lot of great companies out there on the market with these test kits. My personal favorite is from Vibrant Wellness. Vibrant Wellness Lyme test is the most thorough on the market. One of the things I like about their test is that it has quite a few different check and balance mechanisms, meaning the test is done where the testing type, there's many different ways they're testing for the presence. For example, PCR is done where they're looking for the DNA. Immunological tests are done where they're looking for the immune response of the body to the microorganisms. So we get a check and balance. In addition, if you watch one of my other videos, you probably learned that there's multiple species of Borrelia. And Borrelia, many of these different species can cause Lyme disease. A few of the species of Borrelia don't cause Lyme disease from a big picture standpoint, but they'll cause other symptoms, maybe not as bad as Lyme disease, but you still want to know about them. So Vibrant Wellness will actually, in their kit, they will actually test for a lot of these other types of microorganisms instead of just Borrelia burgdorferi. So you're going to get a lot bigger picture. In addition, in their test, they test for a lot of the co-infections. They have their 1.0 and 2.0 test, depending upon how detailed you want to get with some of these co-infections. But that's another way you can really, create a good clinical picture, a good understanding for yourself as far as what infections you have. Because when insects bite us, they don't just give us one thing, right? They give us everything that they are containing. So if they contain Borrelia burgdorferi, but they contain Bartonella, another bacteria, if they contain Babesia, a parasite, if they contain viruses, for example, you will get the cocktail of whatever is in their blood. And so the great thing about doing really thorough testing, like what's offered by Vibrant Wellness, is you get a big picture of not only Borrelia, but of all of these other microorganisms that can be transmitted with that insect bite as well. So if you're liking this information and you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want information about how to work with us at My Lyme Doc, I'm the founder of that clinic. Please do look in the show notes below. And thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.